do you feel now? I can't move. You can't move. Why can't I move? You're paralyzed. Just like that day when you did nothing. You did nothing. Now, sink into the floor. Wait. Sink.
But brother, I hate to bring this home, man. Your mama living, Officer Tatum?
Huh?
Is your mama living?
Yeah, my mama alive.
My mother is not. If somebody did your mother that way in uniform, would you come on my show and defend them?
I'm not defending.
Yes, y'all do,
people
brother. Come on,
conflating
man.
as if. No, listen, people saying like I'm defending it, like I'm
Would you
defending
say
this
what
officer.
you're saying
I'm
if
saying
this was your mother?
I would say the
who
same
was handled
thing.
this way.
I would say the same thing because I'm going off of what the law says. I don't
If they
like
killed your mama,
if this officer shot my mother after she threw a pot of boiling water at
going
him.
through a mental health episode, they did not follow protocol. They did not de-escalate. You would still come on television in order to debate that they or that cop was still legally in the right.
I'm only debating the law.
What's up? Welcome back to the channel. So as most of you probably already know by now, that's a man who goes by the name of Officer Tatum, and I completely disagree with his stance on this. I believe that Sonya Massey was murdered in cold blood, just like the majority of people who've seen the video has come to the same conclusion. And I just don't see how another so-called black man can look at that video and see one of our women get murdered like that and try to justify it. So I mean, I'm not that familiar with Officer Tatum. He's not someone who I've ever watched on a regular basis, but I have come across some of his videos in the past, and there are certain things that he makes good points on. But in this situation, he is way off, and it's completely unacceptable. And I understand, you know, it's human nature. We're going to have disagreements. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you take it as far as to say that one of our people, you know, was justified in getting murdered in their own home the way they got murdered, it just puts you in a whole nother category at that point. And this man has millions of subscribers and people watching him, so it's just a shame to see that he would say those type of things for the entire world to see. And it just goes to show that some of our people still have that same mindset that Brother Malcolm X was talking about many years ago.
Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. I'm a field Negro.
So yeah, we know that there's nothing new under the sun, so some of our people still have that same mindset as the days of slavery. It's just a different time period now. And you know, it's very unfortunate that some of our people are willing to sell each other out over money and popularity and fame and just wanting to be liked by other groups and nations of people. But if I'm not mistaken, this man claims to be a man of God, and I just don't know how he can come to this conclusion, because the God that I know and serve, the God of the Bible, and his only begotten Son who the world knows is Jesus Christ, would not approve of a person getting murdered in cold blood in their own home for no reason. So I mean, we're all going to be held accountable for our words and actions after we leave this earth. So I really hope that he repents and that he starts to have a better understanding of certain things. But if I'm not mistaken, he did used to be a police officer. I'm not sure for how many years, but with that type of mindset, it just makes me wonder what type of police officer he actually used to be.
Got any drugs or weapons on you?
No. I didn't do nothing.
You think you tough? Think you tough, huh? You're scared now, huh? I like that. That's why I took this job. I hate little motherfuckers like you. Little niggas, you ain't shit. Think you're tough, huh? Blow your head off with this myth and wasn't it? You couldn't do shit. How you feel now? What set you from? Look like one of them Crenshaw Mafia motherfuckers. No, you probably one of them rolling 60s, huh? Huh?
Well, Adam 63, we have a possible 187 in Blue VW at Corno, Florence, in Vermont. Again, a possible 187 in Blue VW at Corno, Florence, in Vermont.
Stay out of trouble.
You gentlemen have a nice evening, man.
So yeah, of course, I have no idea what type of police officer that he really was. But when you start trying to justify murder, people have the right to start questioning pretty much everything about you. But I want to play another clip really quick.
So the argument is interesting, the contrast between both of you. Because Tatum, you're basically arguing that this is within the statutory framework of law. Now, the reason why
the shooting, only
right,
the shooting.
You're saying that's your argument. The argument that you're making is that this happened within the statutory framework of what is legally allowable, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's the problem with that. If you believe that laws equate to morality, dear brother, that means you would have to believe that when it was law that black people could not sit where they wanted to sit on the bus, that law equated to morality. When black people could not frequent establishments, could not have the freedom to assemble or the right and access to vote, that was law. That equated to morality. My point to you is, you do not judge, or at least for men like myself, I do not judge a statute or the framework of a judicial ruling in order to determine my morality and ethics as it comes when it comes to people. In addition to that, you're making an argument for the worst among us in policing, and you admit you did not like anything they did. You didn't like none of it.
All right, so I think Dr. Rashad Ritchie made some good points with that statement. And it's very clear we've been oppressed in many different ways since we've been in this country. And for people like Officer Tatum, like I said earlier, he's a man who, if I'm not mistaken, claims to be a so-called Christian and believe in God and believe in Christ. But certain people with that mindset, they really put the laws of America over the laws that God gave us in the Bible. So, I mean, it's very clear hypocrisy. And I know his argument as far as the first video that he originally did about the situation, when he's basically implying that she threw the pot at him, so he had to retaliate. And of course, I completely disagree with that. She did not ever say anything about throwing a pot or make any type of joke or gesture or anything like that that we can see or hear on that body cam. So, I mean, of course, I can't say exactly what happened, but I think either she was trying to cover her face because she clearly was in fear for her life for obvious reasons. Or, you know, maybe once she got shot, that's when the water came that way. I really don't know for sure, but either way, he was not in danger and in fear for his life. That's very clear, and the water is not a reusable weapon. And it was already proven in the autopsy report that she was no threat to him at the way that her body was angled and things of that nature. So it's very clear that she was murdered in cold blood. And you know, rest in peace to Sonya Massey, and my prayers and condolences go out to her family and friends. But I want to read this verse real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, and it goes, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." Okay, so that particular verse is talking about the Israelites of the Bible, which I do believe apply to the so-called Black Americans, which is one of the reasons that we go through so many things that we go through, because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we still continue to sin as a people, and that's why we're in the situation that we're in. But of course, in the Most High's perfect timing, everything will be restored to its natural order. And I believe if someone like Brandon Tatum actually knew his history and accepted it, he wouldn't do certain things that he does, and he wouldn't act a certain way and try to, you know, cater to other nations and basically put his own people down. But of course, there's some people who don't believe that we're the Israelites of the Bible, but they still don't act how he acts. So that's also something internally that he has going on. But you know, if he doesn't change his ways, he's going to be on the wrong side of history, because the Most High is going to judge this place, the entire world, but you know, America especially, for all the wickedness that's been done here. And this video is meant to be no disrespect to Brandon Tatum. I mean, he's really disrespecting himself by certain things that he's saying and doing, disrespecting people that love him, disrespecting the family of Sonya Massey by saying that it's justified. So I mean, I truly hope that he can find his way, because the money and the fame, it's not going to be worth it at the end. This is all temporary. But I'm going to pretty much wrap it up. Much love and respect to everyone who watched the video. I really appreciate it. And at the end of the day, the Lord is always in control, and he will always have the final word. I'm out. Peace.